Hello, namaste, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is Gaurav. Firstly, wish you a very happy new year, 2014. Um, and I've got something very interesting for you. As usual, मैं कोई बेकार की ट्यूटोरियल तो करता नहीं. मैं I think I guess you know by now कि मैं useful चीज़ें लेके आता हूँ आपके पास. So this time I've got this all-in-one plugin called the Izotope Nectar 2. Now basically अगर आप vocals process करते हैं and you use a lot of chain of plugins, right? So this is one thing which can pretty much, I guess, replace everything that you have. Of course, you can have your personal preference, लेकिन मैं इसको दिखाना इसलिए चाहता हूँ आपको because I want to show you how quickly I can just take my own bassy voice and turn it into harmonies, equalize it, compress it, add reverb, delay, everything from one freaking plugin, which is just amazing. And I must commend Izotope, as a company for, creating something like this. It's just insanely fabulous. Here you go. Have a look at the interface. So basically, इसमें एक overview mode होता है where they have everything here, but otherwise the main thing is blocks. So क्या चीज़ें चाहिए होती हैं हमको? We need pitch correction. We need a gate basically ताकि you can cut out your breaths and things like that. You need harmony if you are using harmony. Then there's a soft amount of saturation that you can add. Basically this gives you a tube kind of effect or a tape kind of effect जो आप choose कर सकते हो. Equalization होती है, obviously you need to EQ your vocals, then you compress your vocals. There's a De-Esser, there's a limiter, there's an effects system which is just fantastic. I'll show you this in a second, and a delay and a reverb all built into one plugin. So it's just fantastic, just really amazing. So I'm going to show you something that I sang. I'm going to show you the final version of that and then go back and show you how bad it was as a raw thing. It was a very casually done thing. So this is just the solo sound of my voice, using the pitch correction, harmony and everything of the Nectar engine. So here it is. So see, there was a surprise. There was a kind of whole track going on in there. So I just wanted to show you कि even as a solo naked voice, ये बहुत अच्छा sound करता है. It's not bad at all. And then of course when you add elements, तो it still sticks out and has its own space. So I'm just gonna go into this thing, and then of course I'm very shy to play my original vocal, which are worse than horrible. So this is what it was regularly without the plugin. Okay. Okay, it's the way it is. And then once I process it, of course, I'll remove the bypass. This is how it sounds. Okay, so let's see the journey going from step by step from one part to the other. सबसे पहले thing I did was pitch correction. Now, very cool thing about this plugin is कि I know आप में से काफ़ी लोगों को scales और keys और ये सब चीज़ें समझ में नहीं आती. You can't hear by ear and आपको परेशानी होती है in finding this. So especially producers जिनको vocals दे दिए जाते हैं and they have an issue or they have a problem. This is just amazing because इसके अंदर if you see there's a start detection button. So if you press this, it's going to start detecting my voice and what scale it is. Actually, it'll detect pretty clearly. So let's see. So you see, it keeps suggesting certain keys over here. तो जैसे ये suggest करता है. So in this case, I know it's like an A sharp minor key. मुझे पता है. So you can of course try जो ये suggested keys देता है and see what is sounding right. So it's pretty much made it easy for you. So, or you can of course come here and select कि आपका key क्या है. Is it a major key or a minor key or chromatic? Chromatic का मतलब होता है to include all 12 tones, together. So scale और key का कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. And then there's a custom mode. Custom mode में क्या होता है? When you go, you can actually like auto tune, come and type in if you know the scale, because कभी कभी क्या होता है, कोई मेजर माइनर स्केल में कोई की ओमिशंस भी होती हैं और कोई की एडिशंस भी होती हैं, यानी कुछ नोट्स एडिशनल होते हैं और कुछ रिमूव्ड होते हैं. So you can come and tamper once you know what the main scale is from here, and you can change it. Or of course, if you're an expert or a professional, you can of course come and just type in the scale, and वो वैसे ही चलेगा जैसे आप चाहते हैं. So in this case, this is for my those friends who don't know how to basically take out the key. So आपकी problem solve हो गई है pretty much. This is the key to that. So once I do that, then there's a speed button, so that can help me see how much pitch correction I'm applying. So let's see. So this is maximum. You can hear the effect little bit. Range low, medium, high का मतलब है कि मैंने कहाँ गाया हुआ है. Sang in the low octave, the medium octave, or the high octave. So depending on my range means my singing range, उसको formats detect करने में आसानी होती है. Then of course there's a preserve button. Preserve button क्या करता है? It preserves the formats, यानी कि it doesn't make it sound chipmunkish or whatever. It tries to keep the quality of the original voice as much possible intact. So this is a basically shift from formats. If you want to shift it, you want to really make it sound different, then you can use these keys. आप इसको use कर सकते हो. Scale के लिए भी obviously it can change the format scaling, as in how much difference there is in the sound from this particular button. So or should I say the knob. So this is what pitch correction does. तो पहला part ये. It also has a transpose switch, यानी कि मैं एक गाने का scale भी change कर सकता हूँ. So I'm singing like this. Particularly useful if आपने किसी के लिए गाना बनाया, you have the harmonies done, and then realize के वो बंदा चाहता है कि to change the scale, and you change the scale, and then you realize कि यार मेरी harmonies तो previous उसमें recorded. So you can come here and use this plugin, and it'll pretty much preserve everything. I guess for a couple of semitones up and down, there should be no problem whatsoever. So this is that function. Now I'll go down to the next thing, the gate. I'm not showing the gate in this particular case, but gate, because I've chopped up the vocals, but gate is basically to kill the soft spaces. So gate क्या करता है, जहाँ silence आता है वो बंद कर देता है vocal को, and where the vocal comes in, it has the threshold, and we can see this in detail. I don't want to waste my time showing you this thing. This is something you can figure out later. The other important part of course is harmony. So harmony क्या करता है, it can help you make different harmonizations. So in this case I'm choosing a third, and interestingly it adapts. ये जो adapt करता है to my scale. So there's no fixed pitch of fifth or whatever जैसे गड़बड़ होती है. So if you listen, see, it's actually adapting to the A sharp minor scale. So here basically मैं तीन voices use कर रहा हूँ. I'm pitching up thirds जिनको मैंने basically pan भी कर रखा था. Number 1 and number 2, which is this and this. And there's a pan switch, यानी कि मैंने इनको left right extreme कर रखा है. So when you hear both the sounds are a little delayed and left right. So I can also slightly change the pitch slightly for that chorus and that natural effect. Number 3 is basically an octave. Octave नीचे कर रखा मैंने क्या. I've got to the bass register of mine. So if I switch off the first two, and I'll show you what this sounds like. So my whole voice went down. Pretty impressive, I must say. Even when I'm not playing the music, you can hear that it's pretty cool. बहुत अच्छे से इन्हें इसको device किया. Anyway, so when I switch on all three, you can of course have up to 4. So you detect भी कर लेता है, and it has that. Another interesting thing I'll show you right now is that it has a key input, a MIDI input also. So if I play and switch to MIDI control, see what happens. So this, whatever I'm playing on the keyboard, you can't see my keyboard, आपको नहीं दिख रहा, लेकिन when I play, whatever I'm playing is the harmony that it will actually follow. So इसको ऐसा sound कराते हैं. Let's see. I'm going to play all the chords. Okay, here it is. So you can see as I'm moving the key from the chords or whatever I'm doing, it's falling. So this is fantastic because इसको use करके you can actually create entire chordal harmonies and things like that without using the static system जो बिना MIDI के आता है, because that is just generating one type of result every time. So in this particular case जो मैंने MIDI से transfer किया, it actually follows what I do. So इतना flexible है, it's really good. Then इसके बाद there's a saturation module here. Basically I'm adding a bit more of about some kind of tube saturation here. So this is what it sounds like. जब मैंने इसको on किया तो. It's adding some kind of harmonics. इतना पता नहीं चल रहा, but it exists. Of course, then there's the EQ module. EQ में मैंने काट रखा है lows और highs को boost कर रखा है. So this is how it sounds. Bringing out the sibilance. So I wanted the higher, sharper sound. So this is an EQ curve. EQ तो आप समझते हैं. Simple. Then there's compression. So you can choose what kind of character you want, vintage, optical, solid state. It's basically emulating. So there are two compressors. There's a 1 and there's a 2, which is fantastic because you can actually either make them parallel or serial. यानी कि one goes after the other or both of them work together and दोनों की sound जो है वो mix हो जाती है. So that's up to you how you want to use it. So in this case I'm using a bit of compression. There's threshold, making the voice tighter and more punchy. Okay, from here then there's a De-Esser too. I'm not using it. लेकिन जो essence type sounds होती हैं, they can be actually caught. So usually ये सब achieve करने के लिए you need like a chain of plugins. Like in this, they understand how or what are the problems or things that people want to enhance in a vocal. And in this case, they've provided everything. There's also a limiter. Limiter is basically a compressor with a brick wall limiting, basically. It doesn't go beyond that. Even after compression, certain peaks pop out. So this captures that and makes it steady. Then comes the effects section, which is just fantastic. I mean, there's a distort, modulate, and a repeat. I'll show you this. So as I add distortion, it makes the sound even thicker. You can overdrive it too. For that tube kind of thing, I usually use my harmonic culture not for these kind of things. Like having this handy is a very, very cool thing. So I can add a little bit of distortion. And then modulation basically means modulation effects. Yani ke chorus, flanger, phaser, jo bhi you want to use. In this case, I'll use the chorus and then there are parameters for this. Let's see when we add this. Kaise sound karte hai. Very cool. This kind of reminds me of the Eventide Harmonizer. Use karte the. There was a particular module, effects module, and it used to yield results like this. हमें लगता था कि this hardware can never be replaced, but I guess software technology is really going well. So this is a time where you can just sit on your laptop or your desktop computer and actually create a fully finished, produced track with everything. So just amazing times. Use your creativity and move ahead. This is a plugin which is, I think it starts at $229 or something. It is just worth that money. I suggest just go and buy it. I'm using a demo right now, but I'm just going to go and buy this plugin. It's just going to make my life so much easier and I can churn out more work and put my ideas forward. Then there's also a repeat slider. Let's see this. You see there's a repeat echo kind of thing which is happening. So again, these effects can be put in series and parallel. Series and parallel का मतलब ये होता है कि या तो you can put the distortion into modulation, modulation into repeat, or all three of them exist और तीनों की volume साथ में mix होती हैं, which is the parallel. So in this case, the serial, I prefer serial in this case, so that's how we do. Then there's a delay. So I've switched on the delay. There's a slight amount of delay, which is adding that, repeating floaty sound. Let's hear it. Makes your track professional, makes your track really pop out of, your vocals pop out and float and sit in the mix too. So really amazing tools all built in. ये सब करने के लिए we have to put chains, like I said, chains and chains of things. Then there's a reverb too. Reverb is pretty good. The good part also is कि इसमें सब कुछ बड़े simple से controls हैं. They're not 20,000 controls for controlling reverb. It's just there and makes it sound good. So again, decay basically means room size or the tail of the reverb. So in this case, if I use the reverb, so basic reverb parameters, how much reverb you want is, you fixed by the wet switch. So अगर आपको ज़्यादा चाहिए, you just add that. So basically, this is an overview of this plugin. I really think it is very nice. बहुत ही बढ़िया plugin है ये. And all of you, like I say, who are worried के vocals कैसे mix करने हैं, कैसे produce करने हैं, क्या करना है. This is it. I mean, just get the demo, try it out. And if you feel like I feel, then just go get it because you're saving money on buying so many other plugins. You get this one and you're sorted. I can guarantee that this can pretty much get you a great vocal thing or mix going. And who's to say कि सिर्फ vocals पे आप use कर सकते हो? You can even use it to fatten up synths and all. Just use the chorus section or the saturation section. वो आपके ऊपर है how you tend to use it. And it's, I don't know, it's a bit of a CPU hog. It's not that simple a plugin. Of course, it's giving you great quality, and that is why. Anyway, this is Gaurav saying ciao. You can hear this track a little bit more if you want, and then conclude this particular thing. So again, this is Gaurav saying ciao, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Take care and subscribe to our Beatfactory Academy channel for more such tutorials and reviews.